Everyone, Corrie Thorne, spiritual teacher, coming in to do my weekly channeled message. This one is for the week of December the 5th, following through into the weekend. And this message is, I'm not sure where this message is going today. I just want to say that I had to keep rearranging and moving and kind of trying to record earlier and then not recording. So it's been like a little bit of a journey through the new moon energy. So the intention, and to be clear on the intention, was huge for me. And so today, as I sat down and I start to record, what first appeared to me was my She Is Everyday Miracles new cup. And yes, it has tea stains because I've been drinking tea all morning, but it's Be Your Own Miracle today. And that is a bit of what is coming up. It feels as if there is a lot of challenging energy that's appearing to me, or through the energy. I read energy. And please remember, this is a channel message. It doesn't mean it resonates with everybody. It's just reading through that energy. It's not to replace any of your medical, psychological advice or anything that you have gotten. It is not meant to be taken, and totally returning your life around. There's just this energy that happens within the universe. There's a conscious energy out there that's outside of ourselves. And so there is a shift that happens within us all, or sometimes we're not sure of how we feel or what is happening within us. And so we don't know exactly what's going on. We just feel different. And we just came through that new moon energy. So let me start with this, or where I want to start with this. First, let me see, I haven't even got my microphone in the right direction. It's been crazy. And so first it's about getting a little bit of clarity about that we are right here in the present moment, that we don't allow ourselves to be so caught up in previous experiences that may appear similar to what we are feeling or existing in today. So that we know that no matter if we have previous referencing points, that we've experienced something that feels the same way, or feels like it's going to be a repeat energy, or it feels like something is repeating, it doesn't mean it's the same experience. That we know that it is a new experience that is unfolding, that it's not something that is the same. And to recognize it, and to stay present with the moment, or stay present with where we are, really truly helps us to be able to create solutions, or to be able to stay focused on what it is that I'm really dealing with today, so that we don't allow our emotions to override what it is that we're truly dealing with. So, we see a lot of hysteria energy, that hysteric energy that comes from fear, that comes from that deep-seated anger, that comes from that place. And just knowing that that's not the, that may not be my true truth of today. That may not be, what I need to spew out there, and to stay focused on what is important. What is the importance? What is important to me? What brings value? What's going to bring value into my life? And how do I show up? Or how do I show up for me today in this energy? How do I show up and stay focused, and, creating those strategies around making plans about what do I need to do? And that's a beginning of being able to start a new process of thriving, instead of just being in the old sinking swamp energy that's been happening all around us. And that's part of the message that's coming up, or it's a good portion of the message that I'm receiving, that I'm getting, that I'm hearing through this energy, that I can hear this vibration all morning. This high frequency pitch has just been like crazy through my house. And I know it's spirit. I know it's the energy of spirit. I know it's the energy of loved ones. And it's not spooky. It's just a different frequency. And knowing that there's a consciousness that is greater than, or that's more than just our human existence, that exists there, that has wisdom that we don't have. And that's been coming up huge for me. It's time for us to listen to that, because that unconscious thinking, that need for, to just allow old emotions or previous experience or what we thought we could control and not be able to control, things we thought we could handle, things we thought we could stop and we couldn't stop, and all of that is present, is coming up, is just saying, let's look at this differently. Look at the energy, look at what is not in, what is not in our control, but what is in our control in this present moment. What can I be in control of? And part of that is our emotions. And so that we can stay focused, and that we can get grounded, and we can get rooted, and that we can come from a place of love, and come from a place of being, instilling that love and light into the world and into our lives. It's so important. I don't know. I just can't even, I'm listening. So the reason why the language is slow, or why the message is coming out slow, is because I'm really listening. And I feel like I'm trying to hold back on what's needed to be said, or what's wanting to be said. And part of that is because of the world that we kind of exist in today. And so I'm feeling this out right now. I have to take a moment and just feel this through. I just had to pause. I don't edit these. I just let them go as they are, but I had to pause, and I had to reflect, and I had to just take a deep breath, and I had to breathe through. So and the card that came out was the Queen of Fire, and she's holding her light, and she's holding her front. And I just know where this energy is coming from. I just know I'm getting this look like, say it anyway. Say it anyway. Wear your heart on your sleeve, as you always have. Speak your truth. Say the truth, and just say it the way that it is, because that's who you are. So the energy that's really coming through, and we are in fire season right now. We're in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is one of the friendliest energies there can be, but don't, it's just kind of like, don't mess with that kind of energy. It's like, we're here for you. And so we have passion, we have desire, we have this, Sagittarius and Aries have similar but different energies, same with Leo. And so there is that energy of, I can be a panda bear, or I can be a grizzly bear. I can be I can be soft, I can be kind, I can be gentle, but I can also be strong and powerful. And so what I'm being told is that no matter, what comes at us, is that sometimes we want to lash back out. We want to reach back out. We want to go at it. And it's like, and I just said this to a friend earlier today, I'm like, sometimes if we learn to teach people about allowing others to be who they are, and to let people communicate what they're really feeling, by first teaching them how to let the infection out, how to let how to let the worst of the anger out, find an outlet to release the anger, and then using what is really the deeper anger in a more loving way to be the change that we need to see. And so sometimes our desire and what we often want in this world, or what we want other people to be, or what we keep trying to create other people into, is not what is best for them. And that is such a truth. And so sometimes that little light, that essence that is within us, that belongs to us, is a part of that truth that is speaking to us. And I just finished writing the book, The Way. And it's that journey through of, really letting go. I started out in this world as early as a businesswoman. I lived in that industry. I lived in that industrial world. I lived in that, having to deal with banks and industry when women were not so accepted. I have a hardcore shell when it comes to having to be that kind of woman. And that has all kind of shredded and fell away. And so that realist of me, that person that was strong, and this may be resonating with you. You may be finding that you're starting to realize that you created her to be the person that you needed to be, survive in a hard world, and a world that was very harsh, and the world felt harsh. And then the harsh world comes at you when the harsh world realizes that it's or doesn't realize, or doesn't want to face that it has its own contributing factors that it contributes to. And so when we walk through the door, when we walk through the light, when we walk in and we start to look at our heart's desires and what it is we really want, is that we start to look at what are we hunting for? What are we going for? What is that magic? And then we have this beautiful deer with its long antlers, and it's the 6 of earth, and it's in the future. And, it's got its antlers are decorated. It's courageous. It's, it can be that charge forward energy. It can be this and it can be that. And Sagittarius wears that. It can be this and can be that. And it really truly is the essence of change that is unfolding around us. Is we're being told that we have to look very deeply within us of what it is that we are, what it is that we are truly passionate about, or what is that desire that is coming to life within us, and how are we viewing our world, and why are we, why do we have to live in a world where we feel like we can't be us, or feel like we have to be stifled? Why is it to be weird, to break away from the norm, to step away from that normal world? Why is that such an horrible thing for some people? And why is that not the best way to be? And I'm going to reference this in a way of saying, when you look at the light and the shadow, when you look at the light and the darkness, when you look at that aspects, is that we all have the ability to be a not good person. We've all said things, done things to, say, you might have told someone to F off. You might have just said, I don't like you. I don't, whatever. I'm just giving simple ones, but we all have that capability. But when we look in and we look at the journey through, I'm going to go back to the crucifixion, because that's what's coming up for me today. When you look at the front of the crucifixion, when you look at the man that was placed upon a cross, according to, and when you look at that energy, and then you look at the woman at the feet, and you look at the people weeping over thinking, how can humanity decide that they would want to crucify anybody else? And then you look at the people behind that were cheering on, saying, yay, crucify him, get him gone. The same with the witch energy, the time of the witches, and just to be able to hush and shush people up, or because people wouldn't conform and people wouldn't become exactly what you want them to be. And so that darkness, that shadow energy is still very alive. And it is existing now more than ever. We are witnessing it, we are observing it, we are amongst the time of it, because there is an objective, because there is that energy to put things back, or to clay it together, or to be whatever it is that is the shadows that were behind. And the essence of putting the emphasis on the cross story really was to then, put so much emphasis on this, and turning that, Jesus energy into that savior energy, also then says, let's ignore the fact of who put them on the cross, who did this, and where did this come from? And so the roles and the actions of our own behaviors over the years that accumulate into being something that dulls the lights of others, or makes people feel like they're less than, or that, discounting believing in them, that there's a possibility that things could have been wrong, or, whatever it may be, really truly takes the wind out of people's sails. And we're living in a time when the wind is being taken out of the sails. It's hard to fly. It's hard to be able to live as self. It's hard to be able to live in that truth. And we're fighting through that energy. And we're fighting through that energy very hard right now. And do we fight through it, or do we sit back? And what I've really come to know as I've been writing and creating the series of Paint Me Beautiful, was that on the dark side of the moon, so on the dark side of that story, is I say thank you to all of those who have challenged me, who
who have crucified, who have done those things. And I wish nothing well but wellness, because I can't not live in that light. And so to be able to live and exist in our light, to be present in our light, to know that, the more that we inspire, we stay in faith, and we help others be able to believe in themselves and to know that they can, is as far in the journey as we sometimes can go. There is a free will, and we all have those free will choices. And sometimes people keep seeking and searching. And so where are you seeking and searching for your light today? Do you keep looking into somebody else? Are you keep looking into into hoping somebody else is going to provide that light for you? Where are you trying to keep your darkness alive? Where do you keep going to make sure that you can stay in your story, or that you can stay angry, or that you can stay giving somebody else that pain, throwing it on somebody else or giving it on to somebody else? And so this hot mess that I write of in my book, or in my writings about Paint Me Beautiful, really truly became about the fact that when we're looking at a world that is not so beautiful, and you are light in this world, and you keep hoping and praying that you'll see the world more beautiful, or that others can see the world more beautiful. And as crazy as we may seem, or whatever it may be, is that we know that it comes at a cost of that we may not be here to be able to see the world turn beautiful. And that's the truth. And my hope, and what the light is telling me today, is that as long as there is a light within, it's an opportunity for us to keep charging forward. It's an opportunity for us to be present. It's an opportunity to be here. And so sometimes we're being hunted. There's sometimes you're in that being hunted energy, so that people got a trophy, so that people got I showed them, I did that, I used them. So sometimes people want to be the one to make you their trophy, so that they can stay in their bullshit, or that they can stay in their story, so that they can stay in that energy, so that they don't have to take ownership and responsibility and looking at their own lives, to looking at what they've done. And that's going to be a common thing that you're going to watch unfold over the next month or so, the next few months. And then there's the ones that just say, I want to admire and really explore, and just let people be who they need to be in this world, and not feel like I have to be so judgmental, and not feel like I have to be the one criticizing them. Not that, why do I get to decide who's normal and who's not, or who's acceptable and who's not? And so to be present in this, and to let ourselves rise into being able to put up our own sails, ride our way, go our direction, be kind, be generous, be loving, be the light, be the change that you want to see in this world in your own heart. And to know that the more that we exist in this, the more that this Queen of Fire energy just shows up, is that she walks with a presence of knowing that we are protected, we are loved, we are safe, we are passionate, we're all of those things. And that, but also that she doesn't have to become, she doesn't have to become a victim to the crucifixion, or he, or whatever. We're using the Queen. So it's like knowing that you can still, do you keep putting your neck out there? Do you keep showing up? Do you hide? Do you go hide? And do you hide the light instead of letting the light shine into the world, and hoping that the light makes a difference, and hoping that the light is there, and hoping that the light can be present, and continue to paint the world as beautiful as you possibly can, and see the beauty, see the essence, see the truth, and know that we, as we grow and we evolve, and that I see my world much softer than I did 5-6 years ago, even, compared to 20 years ago. I lived a much softer life, and we all have the opportunity to live that softer life, to be softer, to be gentler, to sit with ourselves and our truth, and not to feel like we have to be those, that bull that's destroying and destructive and having to prove everybody wrong, or feeling like we have to do something bigger than, larger than life to be somebody who's important. So we have the messenger of air that is coming up, and I'm picking her from the bottom of the deck, and she's looking up and she's letting the breeze blow through. And there's a message in the wind. There's a message of change, and there's a message of love, and there's a message of light. And there's messages that are really truly hitting our hearts right now. And we're feeling that in our hearts, and we're feeling that with such truth. And this is the page of water. And this page of water is that lotus flower moment, is about rising up and just knowing that we're, you know, that inner child healing, that essence of trying to relive, reenact, or trying to mold everything into the way we think it should be, or what we think it should be. You know, when we let go, when we do that inner child healing upon ourselves, there's a level of maturity, emotional and spiritual maturity that starts to happen as that we let go of the old ways, let go of the old way of thinking, the old way of being, and knowing that there's a possibility of a new way, knowing that we can believe in people, we can believe in each other, that we can believe that we have a possibility to live a much healthier, well life. Like, I don't know, it just feels like it's just like a cry that I'm getting. I just know this is spirit. I know I have somebody beautiful here with me today who's in spirit world that's just screaming out like, just keep wearing your hearts on your sleeve, but be kind, be gentle, be loving, care for each other. That's kind of all that we want. That's what we hope for. That's what we wish for. We don't want to see people torturing, hurting, crucifying each other. Why do you have to be cruel? Why do we have to be mean? Why do we not have, why? Why do we have to feel like we have to control things? And why do we feel like we have to destroy people and put their heads upon a mantle, upon display, and say, I conquered that, I slayed that, I did that, I proved to them. Why? Why can we not just sit back? Why can we not just be a part of the love and light and say, let's use everything that we have to be the change, to come together, to just know that the gentle souls of the world bring great value. And just because we're soft, just because we're different, doesn't mean we don't have strength or that it's not intelligence. There's a different way that can be. This world can be harsh. This world is hard. This world fucking hurts. This world is a hard place to be. And if more of the world would be softer, kinder, and gentler, understanding, compassionate, and even let kids be who they need to be, stop trying to make them into something that you think they should be. Stop squishing dreams. Stop squishing that energy. Stop telling them they can't, and say, maybe you can. And maybe you can do 2 or 3 different things. But it's time for us to embody more of this, to be on the right side. Because ultimately, the crucifixion story should never have happened. That was never asked for. We want to validate that was the call to be placed upon that cross. And there's so many things that unfold for those experiences to happen. And so if we can do anything to be different, to be better than those stories, is to not to let those stories happen again, to not to be that to each other, to be kinder, to gentler, to always walk in through that light, in through that Christ-like energy, to embody that, to be that gentle, kind love to each other. And to be present, to stay focused, to be here, to look at the lessons, the blessings, and appreciate each other, and to sit with each other and really listen to each other. Because if we take the time to listen, we may be surprised on what we will discover about each other and what we may come to know as a different story than we have told ourselves. And when we create stories about who we think somebody is, when we keep telling ourselves that we can make anyone out to be the enemy, based on what that conviction may be in your heart of anger. And when you set that free, when you trust that, that's when we start to be able to shine a light in the dark. And the moon is the card that comes out to validate this. And this is, sitting on that edge that even in the darkest of energy or darkest of times, there's a light. Shine a light upon our own shadow energy, upon what we need to do, taking ownership and responsibility for our own stuff within our own selves, to what angers we have, what we've tried to control, what you try to be in charge of, what you keep trying to bring forth, and looking in and knowing that this, the sun, moon, the stars, that whole conscious kind of energy, the cycles that we go through, we'll go through many cycles, we'll go through many changes. But the one thing that stays the same is the light that's within, which is eternal, and the love that we arrived with, that we have forgotten, and we have long forgotten it. The love that we arrive with, and the love that we arrive with is the most powerful thing that there is. And that's all most of us that are the soft, that are the weird, that are the light workers. That's what we've been fighting for. Love us for who we are, accept us, and love the world, and love each other. And that we can do this, even though we know that the world will still have, we're not naive, the light and the dark, the temptations are always there. But the power of love is still the greatest. And the free will choices that we have, when we can encourage each other to see the light, to stay in our strength, and to know that no matter what you got going on, that you're still beautiful, you're still okay. That's how we'll change this world. And that's our energy for this week. And I hope somehow this resonates with you. If it doesn't, then it's not for you. But it's a hard one to get through, because it's just so overpowering, the love that I feel through this beautiful spirit that is here with me today. As I feel the spirit, as I feel this love, I just know what this love, I know what this message is. And I can feel it in my heart. I can feel it in the essence of my soul. And when you learn to come into a relationship and speak from the soul, to be present with the soul, to live from your soul self, there's an honesty that comes from there. And it doesn't have to make sense. It just is. Much love, and have a beautiful week. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.